Welcome to the 2014 Total Lubricants LJ Hooker Rally Xtreme Series. After victory in his home rally at Hawke's Bay and then backing that up by finishing second in the Trust House Racetech Wairarapa Rally, Mitsubishi driver Stuart Taylor is now a clear points leader in the 2014 series. Last year's Rally Xtreme champion Jeff Argyle in the Total Lubricants-backed Mitsubishi Evo 8 is currently in second place, 20 points behind Taylor, and only 3 points from Argyle is the very consistent Graham Featherston in his Mitsubishi Evo 7. And after a great result in the Trust House Racetech Wairarapa Rally, Quentin Palmer is fourth in the points tally, only 3 points behind Featherston. And Carl Davies in his Mitsubishi Evo 8 is next, only 1 point behind Palmer. So once again, the Rally Xtreme Series is shaping up to being a very close competition. So heading into round 3, Stuart Taylor leads from Jeff Argyle with Graham Featherston in third. There's not much covering the top 3. Round 3 of the Rally Xtreme Series is the Quality Hotel Rally of Taranaki, brought to you by Taranaki Byproducts. The event starts and finishes in New Plymouth. For the first time in Rally Xtreme history, this is a full tarmac rally with 8 high-speed stages ranging from 8 kilometres to 34 kilometres. And the event also marks the debut of Marcus van Klink's brand new S1600 Citroen. With some very wet road conditions along with some high-speed tarmac stages, this will make this rally very tricky and demanding for all of the crews as we see Dylan Turner warming up his tyres and brakes prior to Special Stage 1. Special Stage 1, 34 kilometres of Otaroa Road, a long special stage first up, and with these weather conditions there could be some early casualties in here. Neil Marshall first up, and he will be one of the favourites to win here. As well as this event being his home event, Marshall has won on this tarmac event before. Rally Xtreme points leader Stuart Taylor is next in his Mitsubishi Evo 10. Away from the line, joined in commentary by Roger Davis. And Roger, not a lot of tarmac experience for Stu Taylor.
No, not a lot, and also he's got his regular co-driver Warwick Searle back in the car, but look at these conditions.
Very, very wet. Another local driver is Nigel Adams, and like many other drivers from this region, including rally sponsor Glenn Smith, Adams is very fast on tarmac.
Yes, both Nigel Adams and Neil Marshall, they are very quick on tarmac. It's quite interesting that these drivers in Taranaki are so fast here.
Neil Marshall now into his stride, making his way to the LJ Hooker mid-stage split points. Marshall will set the benchmark, a split 10:46.6. Next up, Jeff Argyle in his familiar Total Lubricants Mitsubishi Evo 8. Argyle is not a fan of tarmac, so the defending Rally Xtreme champion is not feeling that confident today. On board with Stuart Taylor now as he negotiates this amazing tunnel midway through the stage.
Yes, you almost need to turn the lights on in there because you can't see too much, can you?
Very, very tight through there as well. Taylor now approaching the stage splits.
Well, he got completely sideways here on that corner. Well, we're talking about Glenn Smith earlier. He is the owner of Taranaki Byproducts, and Glenn Smith, he's won this rally a few times, and he was very instrumental at getting Rally Xtreme started a few years ago. In fact, if it wasn't for his generosity, Rally Xtreme wouldn't have started.
Here is Taylor's split, 10:32.2 over 14 seconds up on Marshall. That is blistering.
Well, that's also a big surprise as we see Marshall here.
Making his way down towards the end of today's longest special stage. On board with Marshall, his time coming up, 19:31.9. That's the time to beat so far.
Once the tyres got warm, we started getting a bit of grip. I was still being a little bit cautious because it is the first stage of the rally. But no, it's reasonably good. I'm happy with the car. Just need to start pushing a bit harder as we get used to it.
Next into Special Stage 1 is the LJ Hooker driver Dylan Turner making his return in Rally Xtreme after missing the previous round at Wairarapa.
Well, it's good to see the LJ Hooker man back after business commitments kept him away at Wairarapa.
Nigel Adams now approaching the stage split zone. His time 10:52.3, slower than the first two through. Taylor within sight of the stage finish. However, towards the end here, there is a series of very, very fast crests.
Yes, there sure is. There's quite a few in a row, and this is where the cars could get completely airborne. In fact, Stu Taylor just got airborne just then.
Check how big this one is!
Oh, this is a big one. He's come down on the nose.
That is a big jump.
Well, lucky to get away with that one.
Remember, he was well up on Marshall at the split, the time to beat, 19:31.9. He is well up on that.
Well up. I'll tell you what, we're on for a good time here, and this is a surprise as he makes a finish. He's way ahead of him.
19:02.6, much faster.
To brick. There's a bit of airtime there.
I didn't know what was going to happen there.
Yeah, look, we didn't know what was going to happen. This is our first time on Tarmac together, Warwick and I, and we just drove as fast as we could in these conditions. But gosh, we had some moments in there. Almost tipped the car over the front. We approached a crest and landed on the nose, so hopefully it hasn't caused too much damage.
Jeff Argyle now approaching the stage split.
36.6 down. He is well down. What's the problem with Jeff Argyle?
Patrick Malley up next. A lot is expected of Malley again today. His Peugeot was originally built for these Tarmac style events.
And also with a brand new Race Tech sponsorship on the side of the car.
60.
On board with Dylan Turner as he makes his way through the tunnel. How tight is that?
Well, Dylan Turner very quickly turned his lights on so he could see where he's going. Dylan Turner, he'll push in this first stage because he will want a good result here as he comes towards the split.
11 minutes, 0.9, 14 seconds down on Marshall. Now back on board with Turner, and those conditions are not getting any easier.
No, definitely not. And I'll tell you what, Turner's not too bad on the split. But, oh, he's just looped it. He's looped it. He's put it around. This is going to be a time loss here, Jamie.
Struggling to get the car back into reverse. Certainly a big time loss here. He's got a smile on his face, though.
Well, he knows he's going to have to push now to get back into this game.
Clinton Cunningham on the start line. The RCK driver has never competed in a Tarmac event before, so this will be tough on Cunningham.
Well, if we factor in these conditions as well, this is going to be very tricky for Clinton Cunningham. So he's going to have to take it.
There's a lot of animation going on there, and it's gone wrong.
It certainly has. I'll tell you what, he's clouded the bank there. He hasn't lost a lot of time, but he's definitely clouded the bank.
Nigel Adams, the third driver, approaching the stage finish.
Well, Nigel Adams, he's already slower than Stuart Taylor. Look at his time, 19:27.28. He could be quicker than Marshall, though he comes down towards the finish. And what's it going to be? 19:33, slower than Marshall. Nigel done 19:33, Neil did a 19:32.
Oh, well, I'm stoked with that, really happy with that. It was really slippery out there, eh? And we were pushing, but, yeah, good fun though.
Patrick Malley approaching the splits. This unique little Peugeot, 8:36.9, 25 seconds down on Marshall. He's well down. Philip Broadbent on the start line of the Stage 1 monster. He's another one with limited experience on the tarmac. Jeff Argyle now closing in towards the stage finish. Argyle was down at the split. Has the Mitsubishi driver made up time in the second half of the stage?
Well, I don't think so. Just have a look at that time, 20:37. Remember, Taylor did a 19:02, so it's going to be well down. In fact, a minute and a half down.
Well, that's a big loss for Argyle. Has he got a problem?
Jeff, well down on stage time.
Yeah, we just can't get any heat in the rear tyres. The car's all over the place. I almost put it off 2 or 3 times, so we'll have to go back and see what we can do.
Clinton Cunningham at the splits, 11:18.9, 32 seconds down.
Well, look at the damage on the back of that car. That is substantial. Clinton Cunningham, hopefully it hasn't upset the handling characteristics of this car. But look, he's understeering quite badly, so maybe it has.
Dylan Turner, the next driver, making his way towards the stage finish. How much time has that spin cost the LJ Hooker driver?
Well, I know Dylan will have his foot down now because he'll want to make up a lot of time.
And he's down already.
Oh, yes, he is. He is, Jamie. He's right down. He's
into the 20s, down to the finish line, 20:06.9. That spin was very costly.
A minute down on Taylor. Dylan, just a little bit down on time. You're about a minute down on Taylor.
Yeah, we knew we would be. We had a spin, Rog, and as we were coming into the control, I was like, something feels loose, and we got out and our wheels had come loose on the tour. So we tightened them up, and that was kind of a little bit in the back of my head. Towards the end, we started getting a bit of vibration, so we might have stuffed the studs up on the wheels. So I was a little bit cautious. It was fun, though. First time back in tarmac for a while.
Philip Broadbent now closing in on the LJ Hooker split points. 10:55.3. Look at the brake rotors glowing on the front end of the Mitsubishi Evo.
Well, back on the replay and just have a look at the front wheels because he is working these brakes very hard through this special stage.
He's working them hard. Fourth fastest to the split. Patrick Malley, what can he do? Remember, he was well down at the split point as he approaches the finish line in the Racetech Peugeot. Malley's time, 20:15.5.
Patrick a little bit down on the stage times, but I guess the road's getting worse.
To be honest with you, it wasn't the road conditions that stuffed me up. It's the fact my windscreen wipers stopped working. It seems to be a first stage problem for me. It's obviously a legacy of the hit that we had at Wairarapa, and we just didn't pick it up. And it's hard to drive in the rain without seeing where you're going, that's for sure.
Clinton Cunningham, the next driver through.
Well, this will give us another opportunity to look at the damage on the rear of that car. And Jamie, that is substantial, isn't it?
Yeah, well, as you can see there, it wasn't an insignificant clout with the bank as he approaches the finish line out over the 20-minute mark, 20.25.5. On board with Philip Broadbent. Tricky conditions. Look at him working at the wheel on this greasy road surface, now approaching the stage finish. He was good at the split point, and it's looking good here, Rog.
Yes, and those brakes are still glowing. So Philip Broadbent, he's on a charge. He's been impressive so far. And remember, throughout the season already, he's had some brake problems. So let's hope this isn't another one of them. A little bit of a twitch coming out of that corner.
It's going to be a sub-20, though.
Oh, yes, he's looking for a good one here. 19:44.8. That's excellent. Well done.
Fourth fastest so far. Another driver who performs well on tarmac is Lee Robson. The Mitsubishi Evo 4 driver was off to a great start with a stage time of 19:37.8, which gave him the fourth fastest time through the opening special stage. Carl Davies was looking forward to the tarmac, possibly not in these conditions though. However, a good start for him, 6th quickest in special stage 1. And it was also a good start by Brian Green in his Mitsubishi Evo 10, 7th quickest in the opening stage. Graham Featherston was expected to be one of the drivers to beat here at Taranaki. However, with early car problems, he could only manage 8th fastest in stage 1. Dave Strong, another driver with plenty of tarmac experience, and he was 10th fastest in the opening stage. Strong, however, is not enjoying these conditions.
Dave, first time on tarmac with a new motor?
Scary. That's all you can say is scary. Conditions are pretty demanding. I'd rather be on gravel anytime. I know people find that hard to believe, but you got more grip on gravel than this sort of mossy chip seal.
Quentin Palmer had an eventful start, having to stop and assist another crashed competitor, so Palmer was given a 13th overall assessed time. So Stuart Taylor with the lead after special stage 1 from Neil Marshall with Nigel Adams in 3rd, ahead of Lee Robson, Philip Broadbent and Carl Davies. Welcome back to the Quality Hotel Rally of Taranaki. Anthony Jones took a liking to the wet tarmac surface, taking an early lead in open 2-wheel drive.
Well, he's certainly taken a liking to this, and I'll tell you what, the spectators will enjoy this. He's throwing this car around.
In his debut event for his new Citroen S1600, Marcus van Klink impressed, chasing Jones hard, currently 2nd in open 2-wheel drive. And it's very, very close in Club 2-wheel drive. Rick Chalmers is 2nd. And he's only 2 seconds behind fellow Honda driver Tyson Jemmett. Jemmett in his Honda has taken an early advantage in the Club 2-wheel drive class. Local driver Sean Bryce joins the series for this tarmac event. The Toyota Starlet driver currently 3rd in Club 2-wheel drive with an extra aero aid. Alan Smith in his Subaru Legacy is 14 seconds down on the lead in Club 4-wheel drive and is chasing Marty Smith in his similar Legacy. Marty Smith once again off to a good start in this event with an early lead in the Club 4-wheel drive class. Roger Goss, the only entry in Classics, however the Mazda driver having major fuel pump issues early on in the event. So for their respective classes, Nigel Adams, Anthony Jones, Marty Smith, Tyson Jemmett and Roger Goss of lead after Special Stage 1. The competitors now head to the town of Stratford. With a population of around 5,500, Stratford is situated approximately halfway between New Plymouth and Hawera. The town is a rural service centre for the farming district, and today it's also the venue for the first of 3 service breaks for the event.
It's my first time really competing on tarmac and sort of getting to grips of what's going on, and it's wet and the tyres, and just come around a left-hand corner, 4 left tightens, and just a little bit too much speed and spun and backed it into the bank.
A lot of damage on the back. The boys are underneath the car, so you'll get it going again?
Yeah, for sure. We'll get it going.
Over the next 2 stages, Neil Marshall slowly closed in on Stuart Taylor's early rally lead, winning stages 2 and 3. Stu Taylor was unable to do anything about Marshall's pace. However, the Hawke's Bay driver still had a slim rally lead. In the worsening conditions, Nigel Adams held on to 3rd place in his local event, not too far behind the front 2.
Well, it's a good effort for Nigel Adams at this stage, and these conditions are getting worse. In fact, he's struggling to see through. There you can see with his head.
He's got a moment.
Oh, no, he's going. Oh, no.
Big spin there for Nigel Adams.
Look at his eyes. He knows he's lucky he got away with that one.
Little smile too. Philip Broadbent, impressive pace on tarmac. Broadbent up to 4th place, and with Adams having that spin, maybe 3rd place could be a possibility.
Well, he won't be aware of that, but he'll be putting his foot down because he'll want to get onto the podium today. It's been a good effort by Philip Broadbent so far.
And he's got it off.
Oh, he's hit something. Oh, what a bang.
Get it going and get out of the paddock.
Wow. These conditions proving to be tricky. Dylan Turner, he's still struggling in these wet conditions.
Well, he can make a break here with the... Oh, no, he can't. He's gone round as well.
Another victim. Dylan Turner goes around in the LJ Hooker Mitsubishi Evo.
Well, it's very slippery here in the roads of Taranaki at the moment.
Clinton Cunningham now well down the leaderboard. The Mitsubishi driver has some catching up to do.
Well, the service crew have done a good job in this car because they've got the back of this car back together again. But more bad luck for Clinton Cunningham. He withdrew from the event shortly after this with motor problems.
And after his great start, now with both Adams and Broadbent having their respective problems, this moves Lee Robson up to 4th, and now he could be the threat to Adams' 3rd place. And it doesn't get any easier for Dylan Turner. After a couple of spins, he's now caught Patrick Malley in stage.
And it's very difficult to pass here because the road's so narrow. There he goes. He got past Patrick Malley. So he'll put his foot down now and try and do something about it.
You've got to say there, Roger, some good sportsmanship shown there by Malley, not holding up Dylan Turner too much. Obviously some problems for the Peugeot driver. Carl Davies still keeping in touch with the leading group, currently 5th, only 3 seconds behind Dylan Turner. And 1 place behind Davies is Brian Green, having a great event in his Mitsubishi Evo 10.
Yes, Brian Green's very familiar with tarmac because he's done quite a few Targas of recent, and he's also done a bit of rallying overseas.
And of course the Mitsubishi Evo 10 is a proven package on tarmac. Greenie though is not finding everything to his liking.
Brian, you've been around for years, but have you seen tarmac like this before?
Occasionally, but not all day like we've had though, that's for sure. We did Ireland years ago and had a couple of days like this, but these things, the roads are so narrow and a bit of moss and there's no room for error.
Graham Featherstone's rally has had further problems. The Mitsubishi Evo 7 driver is now down in 9th place. Dave Strong has now got ahead of Featherstone, currently 8th place for the superb sounding Ford Fiesta. So it's Stu Taylor with just a 5-second advantage over Neil Marshall, with Nigel Adams in 3rd ahead of Lee Robson, Dylan Turner and Carl Davies. Welcome back to the Total Lubricants LJ Hooker Rally Xtreme Series. One of the many talking points on this event has been the debut of Marcus van Klink's Citroen S1600. We're more used to seeing Van Klink in his fire-breathing Group B Mazda RX-7.
Yeah, it's a WRC type car. It's built by Citroen Sport, PH Sport, which build all the WRC cars. So yeah, no, it's a really good thing. Yeah, the Citroen's done 600 kilometres from new, so we purchased it. It was built in 07, and yeah, so first one in Australasia, I think. So, but it's yeah, it's going good.
You've been on the tarmac with it, so how have you found it in the first few stages?
Yeah, it was the conditions aren't ideal, but that was very good. But I'm not the best tarmac driver, but we're just slow and steady, and no, it's going really well.
The second service break is in the small township of Inglewood, which is situated 16 kilometres southeast of New Plymouth, with a population of around 3,000.
Taylor had a big advantage after the first stage, and I think it's only 5 seconds now.
Yeah, I sort of underestimated what the grip level was going to be. Just a little bit cautious. We all know it can all go horribly wrong in the first stage, as we've seen. But now I'm used to the car. I know my grip level. I think it will just keep on pushing pretty hard for the rest of the day.
Stuart, big advantage early on, but Neil's really pushing hard. He's 5 seconds behind you now.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Neil's had a lot of experience at this event, and I guess we just got a really good start. But now reality's setting in. Everyone's kind of settling down, and I think we'll probably be similar pace for the rest of the day. So we'll just do what we can and try and maintain that small advantage we've got left.
Philip, a lot of damage on the car.
Yeah, I'm not very happy about that. The brakes just pedalled to the floor and had a corner in front. So the evasive action ended up going through a fence.
Anthony Jones continues to push hard in his Ford Escort, still leading open two-wheel drive. While with more seat time, Marcus van Klink is slowly closing in on Jones's class lead. The little Citroen sounding superb. And what a battle the two Honda Civics are having in club two-wheel drive. Only 4 seconds separate Rick Chalmers and Tyson Jemmett. Jemmett holding a narrow advantage. It's very, very tight class battle. Marty Smith still holds a comfortable lead in four-wheel drive. And Daniel Alexander is going well on these Taranaki roads. The Subaru driver currently in 17th place overall. Rex visible now with his Subaru repaired after his wire wrapper crash. Currently 20th overall here in Taranaki on the tarmac. Tyler Radovan, in just his 3rd ever rally in his first tarmac event, finds himself in 24th place overall. After bad luck in the first 2 rounds for Jonathan Shapley, this trend has continued. Shapley unfortunately out of the rally early with mechanical problems. So getting down towards the end of the event, Nigel Adams, Anthony Jones, Marty Smith, Tyson Jemmett and Roger Goss continue to lead their respective classes. The Pyro Classic Fires Power Stage is next, 14 kilometres of the tricky Dover Road, and this time it's the top drivers chasing the stage victory and the cash bonus. First up, struggling today on tarmac, is Jeff Argyle.
Yes, he certainly is struggling. He's down in 13th place at the moment, but maybe this shorter style stage will suit him. But boy, he's having some serious problems with tyres on the back of this car.
After his earlier problems, Philip Broadbent has an opportunity to get back on the leaderboard here. The Nazia panel beater has been very fast on these Taranaki tarmac roads. Dave Strong now well into the stage in the purposeful sounding Ford Fiesta. Graham Featherston goes well on these power stages, and even better if they are on tarmac. He could well be the dark horse here. On board with Jeff Argyle, the first driver to approach the Pyro Classic Fires stage split.
Well, Jeff Argyle's looking very fast here, so maybe he has increased his pace.
5:06.3 for the Total Lubricants Mitsubishi. LJ Hooker driver Dylan Turner, next driver to start the power stage.
30.
Dave Strong at the split. Let's compare his time with Argyle. Split time 5:02.8, 3.5 seconds quicker than the Mitsubishi. On board now with Dylan Turner. Check these crests out. He's guaranteed to get some air here.
Well, he's definitely got this Evo 8 completely wound up. Oh, big one there. In fact, he just about overcorrected it coming back on the ground.
Got all out of shape on the landing. He continues on. Spectacular stuff. Jeff Argyle as he makes his way to the stage finish.
Changeable conditions here. It was wet halfway through the stage, but it's dry across the finish line. 8:13.5 for Argyle in the power stage. Jeff, you pushed pretty hard on these power stages and you're going pretty good. 8:13, that's a good time, but we've still got about 2 or 3 still to come.
Yeah, well, we're getting better. Slowly getting the car set for tarmac in the wet. It's taken too long, though, unfortunately.
Rally leader Stuart Taylor next, and with Neil Marshall winning stage 4, he is rapidly closing in on Taylor's lead. Taylor will have to push in here to keep ahead in the rally. Back on board with the hard-charging Philip Broadbent.
Well, Philip Broadbent looks very, very relaxed inside the car. And you can see there the result of the damage from the earlier collision he had, but he's still going, that's the main thing.
Graham Featherston at the stage split.
Well, let's just have a look and see how he goes.
5:02.7, slightly quicker than Strong, but only by 0.1 of a second. Neil Marshall, the last driver on the start line of the Pyro Classic Power Stage. After being 30 seconds down on Taylor after the first stage, Marshall has reduced the deficit to just under 2 seconds.
And these special stages are definitely going to suit Neil Marshall, the faster flowing stages, as we see Dave Strong come towards the finish, and he's time 8:05.2. Dave, you come through here, a good time 8:05, that's the quickest so far.
Well, that's surprising. It was fairly heavy rain in the middle, and you hate having to slow down on the straight, but I had to do that a few times. A little bit more open, so I think that suits me, a bit more road width.
Back on board with Dylan Turner in his Mitsubishi.
Well, Jamie, we saw the road conditions at the start of the stage are dry, mid-stage they're wet, and towards the end they're dry again.
Tricky conditions here on the tarmac in the Taranaki. Graham Featherston slightly quicker than Strong at the split. What can he do? 8:06 flat, slower than Strong.
Graham, a pretty good time. I think it's 8:06 through here. That's not bad.
Yeah, probably getting a little bit more confidence and pretty fast over some of those brows. We've got a bit of good air. I wish you'd had the few people there.
Philip Broadbent now at the split. Dave Strong, the quickest so far to the split. 5 minutes, 0.4. He's 5.9 seconds faster. Back now with Stuart Taylor. He'll be pushing hard in here, and with these conditions, it will be very, very tricky. Dylan Turner towards the split. Philip Broadbent has been the fastest so far to that point.
Well, the time to beat is 5:00.4. What can Dylan do as he comes down to the split? Yes, he's done it, 4:57.8. He's 3 seconds quicker than Broadbent.
Broadbent closing in on the stage finish. Time to beat. Strong's 8:05.2. Yes, 8:01.8. That's quick. Neil Marshall now well into the stage. The conditions are not letting up at the midpoint. On board now with Taylor. Remember, Turner, 4:57.8 is the quickest at the split so far.
Well, he's going a lot quicker, 4:51.4. He's quicker than Turner.
And here is Turner towards the end of the stage. Can he go to the top of the leaderboard? It's looking good. He's in the 7s.
Yes, he's looking good, all right. In fact, he's going to stay in the 7s, I think. Jamie, what is it?
7:56 flat, quickest so far.
Dylan, you pulled a cracker in here. You're the third quickest.
Oh yeah, that's good, that's good. We're starting to get into a big rhythm. We had a huge moment in there over this jump. We landed on the sump guard, and you'll see it on the footage, I'm sure. It's pretty exciting. But no, it's good, starting to come to grips with it and enjoying it.
Neil Marshall, the last driver to the Pyro Classics Fires stage split.
Well, look at his time, 4:46.2. He's quicker than Taylor.
Stuart Taylor now, time to beat 7:56 for the Pyro Classic Power Stage. Can Taylor do it?
I think he's going to do it, Jamie. He's well in the zone.
7:45.4.
Stuart, looks like you're the quickest so far.
Yeah, happy with that stage. We finally got our windscreen sorted out. We had the heat turned right up to keep the screen clear. It worked a treat, but we got really hot as a result.
Now Neil Marshall, he was quickest to the split, and he is well and truly on a flyer here through the final corner. He's in the 7:30s.
Yes, he's going to do it.
7:37 flat.
Neil, well done. You've won your first power stage.
Yeah, thanks, Roger. We gave it everything we had in there, so yeah, no hot.
You got $500 coming to you.
Yeah, I know where that'll go tonight.
So for the Pyro Classic Fires Power Stage, Neil Marshall with the advantage over Stuart Taylor, followed by Dylan Turner, Dave Strong, Philip Broadbent and Carl Davies. Welcome back to the third round of the Total Lubricants LJ Hooker Rally Xtreme Series, the Quality Hotel Rally of Taranaki. The final service break is in the small coastal settlement of Okato, which is approximately halfway between New Plymouth and Opunaki on the west coast of the North Island. Stuart Taylor has just lost his rally lead.
Probably some of the toughest conditions you've encountered?
Oh, certainly on tarmac. This is scary stuff. I mean, the grip just suddenly gives way mid-corner, so it's a real variety, and then the rain falls. It's incredible out there. Yeah, and you're trying to push on, keep in touch with Neil, and yeah, no, she's on the edge.
But it's Neil Marshall that has taken over the rally lead. However, it is very close.
We're just going to keep pushing hard, try and get a little bit of a buffer so we can just ease off a little bit maybe, but we're still going to have to keep pushing hard.
Yes, there's 3 stages to go and there's only 7 seconds in it.
Yeah, it's not much of a buffer, and it only takes a spin on an intersection or something and we could lose that, so we've still got to keep pushing hard and try and give ourselves a little bit of a buffer just so we can go into the last stage a little bit more comfortable.
With 2 short stages and also a final 18-kilometre stage, this event is far from over. On board with Neil Marshall. Marshall won stage 6, repeated the stage win on 7. This now gives the local Mitsubishi Evo 8 driver a 14-second rally lead. Stuart Taylor couldn't quite keep up with Marshall in 6 and 7. These 2 faster stages have suited Marshall. However, with the road tightening up for the final special stage, this should suit the Mitsubishi Evo 10 of Taylor, so this event is well and truly still alive. Nigel Adams still holds down that 3rd spot, however Dylan Turner is starting to close in on the local Mitsubishi Evo 5 driver. Here is Dylan Turner, and with his increase of pace this afternoon, maybe having those 2 spins earlier in the day could cost Turner a podium finish. So after special stage 7, Neil Marshall holds a 14.6 second advantage over Stu Taylor, while Nigel Adams holds just an 11-second advantage over Dylan Turner in the battle for 3rd. Disaster for Sean Terry, heavily damaging his Subaru out of the event. In the class battles, Anthony Jones did get the better of Marcus van Klink later in the event and won open 2-wheel drive. As the event progressed, Marcus van Klink became more familiar with his new Citroen. He also took the challenge to the Ford Escort driver, however in the end Van Klink had to settle for 2nd in open 2-wheel drive. Rick Chalmers and Tyson Gemmett had a great battle all day for Club 2-wheel drive. Despite this moment for Chalmers towards the end, he got there in the end despite that moment, rearranging the back of his Honda Civic. And as the spectators move the rock out of the way, Tyson Gemmett almost does exactly the same thing. Gemmett, however, 2nd overall in the class behind Chalmers. Marty Smith took the Club 4-wheel drive class lead from the outset and was never headed. Smith with a comfortable class win in his Subaru legacy. Alan Smith had to settle for 2nd in Club 4-wheel drive, however this result gives him the overall class points lead after 3 rounds. After several stoppages in the stages due to fuel blockage, Roger Goss finally made it to the rally finish to wrap up the classic category. Philip Broadbent would have finished close to a podium spot today, however the brake problems in special stage 4 ruined his chances. However, the Resine Automotive Paint sponsored driver did make it to the rally finish. Another to struggle through the day with car issues was Patrick Malley and his Peugeot, eventually finishing 12th overall. Quentin Palmer finished in 10th, gaining more valuable overall series points. But for Jeff Argyle, this event was not one he really would want to remember.
No, Jeff Argyle struggled all day. He's had tyre problems all day, but he doesn't really like the tarmac, so I guess the next event's going to be gravel, so he'll be back on the pace.
And after all of that, Argyle still got into the 10, finishing 9th overall. Graham Featherston, who was very fast on tarmac, was another driver who had minor problems all day. However, Featherston recovered to finish 8th outright despite this moment. Dave Strong was holding on to that 8th place, however steering problems forced him to withdraw on the penultimate stage. Brian Green was on the pace right throughout the event in his Mitsubishi Evo 10, finishing a very creditable 7th overall. An excellent drive for Carl Davies and his Mitsubishi Evo 8, finishing in 6th place and gaining some valuable overall series points. Early on in the event, Lee Robson held a close 4th place overall, however he dropped down to 5th at the end of the rally. On to the final stage. 18 kilometres of Saunders Road, and the rally is still well and truly alive for the top 4 drivers, and one of the features of this event has been the local interest towards the event. Nigel Adams into the stage, and it's a stage he knows so well.
Well, the problem Nigel Adams has is Dylan Turner is only 11 seconds behind.
Here is Dylan Turner. Will we see a late charge from the LJ Hooker Mitsubishi? He'll want that final podium spot.
Yes, he sure will. Expect a big push from Dylan Turner in this stage.
Back on board with Adams, approaching the end of the stage. Look how tight and twisty it is through here.
Yes, I've got a very tight, twisty section. In fact, Nigel Adams is coming towards the end of this now.
Split 10.24.0. A little bit sideways. He's trying hard.
Yes, well, he's going to put his foot down in the final few corners of this stage, and he's going to have to because Dylan Turner is on a charge.
Back on board with Turner. What's the clock going to tell us?
Well, he's coming through this twisty section, and he's certainly pushing here. And look at his split. He's 6.2 seconds up on Adams with a final surge towards the finish.
Back on board with Adams towards the stage end. He is flying towards the finish.
He's absolutely flying as he comes towards the line in his time.
11.39. Will that be enough?
Well, look at Tanya Gwynn. She's actually shaking. That's flying through here.
Back on board with Turner towards the rally finish. Has to go 11.28 or better to beat Adams for third.
11.32.2. Adams is safe for third. You've pulled 6 seconds on him. You've just missed out.
Awesome. Hey, good on Nigel. Good drive. We had 2 spins early on in the day, so we're probably a bit lucky to be fighting for third, to be fair. We never had the pace of the front guys, but happy to finish. You know, Hawke's Bay was a bad rally for us, and yeah, cool. Pretty stoked to finish. Malcolm did an awesome job on the notes.
And it's a relieved Adams.
Turner's taken 6 seconds out of you, so I think you're safe.
Oh, hopefully. Oh, well, we won't count our chickens yet. We'll see what happens.
No, pretty sure you're safe. You're third, is that right? You're third in third place.
Excellent. Oh, stoked. Yeah, he's made a good day.
Neil Marshall now lining up for the final stage. He has a 14.6 second advantage over Taylor coming into the final. Stuart Taylor, what can he do? This tighter stage should suit him a little bit better than Marshall, maybe.
Yes, but he's got to do roughly a second a kilometre quicker, so it's going to be a real hard charge for him in here.
On board with Marshall as he makes his way out of the twisty section, running the clock.
Well, he's got through the twisty section. He comes up, and what's his split time?
10.15.9. That is quick.
Marshall definitely on a charge in this final stage. Can he hold on to the rally victory?
Here is Taylor. Clearly, he is trying hard on these onboard shots.
Well, we're down to the split. Let's have a look at the split time. He is 12 seconds quicker than Marshall. It's all on here.
That is amazing. The progress in the first part of the stage. Marshall now flying down towards the finish.
What can he do? He won't be aware of this Stuart Taylor push as he comes down towards the finish for a stage time. What's it going to be?
11.29.7. Will that be enough to hold on to the rally victory? Because Taylor is flying.
Well, Marshall's going to park here and wait for Taylor to see what his time is over the finish line.
Back with Taylor. Can he do it?
Well, he's got to go 11.15 or better, but he was 12 seconds up on the split. He is absolutely winding himself down towards the finish time. It's going to be real close.
It's going to be close. 11.17. Marshall wins it by just 1.9 seconds. But what a comeback from Taylor.
Look at Neil Marshall. He's having a look behind and he can see Taylor right there. He doesn't know what's happened yet.
Unbelievable. Neil Marshall has absolutely no idea. The time hasn't been posted yet. There is Taylor.
Neil, I'll tell you what, it's pretty close at the end there and you sort of don't know at the moment, but you've just won the rally by 2 seconds.
He must have pushed like a mad demon in that last one because we were trying pretty hard. But no, it's been a bloody good effort all day and it's been a good challenge too.
Oh, it's been seesaw all the way. This is what rallying's all about.
It is, but I would have liked to have won a bit more than 2 seconds, but no, we'll take the win.
Stewie, you've pulled a blinder. You've absolutely pulled a blinder in here. You're 12 seconds quicker than Marshall. Not quite enough, 1.9 seconds in it.
Really? Oh, look, that was our best stage of the day, and look, the result doesn't matter. That was an amazing run, and we just loved it, every minute of it.
He's absolutely stunned. I told Neil your time, he couldn't believe it.
Yeah, look, it's awesome. We had such a good battle today, and I'm pleased that Neil's come home with it. I mean, he's on his home rally. We pushed as hard as we could, and we're happy, really happy.
So it's congratulations to Neil Marshall with a stunning 1.9 second advantage over Stu Taylor. Nigel Adams, the third of the drivers on the podium here in Taranaki. And it's congratulations to our class winners Nigel Adams, Anthony Jones, Marty Smith, Rick Chalmers and Roger Goss. And to the points after 3 rounds, Stuart Taylor has a commanding lead over Jeff Argyle. Neil Marshall now moves up to third ahead of Graham Featherston, Nigel Adams and Quentin Palmer. Lee Robson, the Brian Green Properties driver of the day, after an outstanding drive, finishing 5th overall. Tyson Jemmett still retains his lead in the Te Rapa Automotive and Dyno sponsored junior title. And as the champagne flows outside the Quality Hotel in New Plymouth, we look forward to the next event, August 23rd at Whitianga. See you there.